Our mission is to prevent workplace injury, illness, and fatalities. We've been doing it for 44 years, since Dick Nixon signed the OSHA Act in late 1969. Every year, more than 4,000 workers die. As many as 50,000 die from injuries or illnesses that come out of the workplace. 3 million non-fatal injuries a year. These are huge numbers. But we've dropped fatalities by 65% in those 44 years. It used to be 10, 14,000 a year died in the workplace. This year, I think it was 4685 or something to that nature. The 2013 BLS numbers just came out on the 22nd. So we're making big progress, but there's still work to do. We do not have the resources a lot of people think we do. We have less than 900 compliance officers around the country to inspect more than 1 million workplaces on average a year. On the right side, you have the recognition programs, the VPP, the folks that are really getting it, really doing it right. The left side, criminal penalties. People that are just flagrantly out there. Most people are in the middle. Most people are on the compliance assistance, consultation, they're working, they're trying to do what they can do, trying to provide that safe and healthful workplace. The left side of the curve is the folks that we're talking to on a regular basis. But we're working. Our challenge is to move that bell. Slide that whole chart a little bit more to the right. So we continue to do that with every tool in our toolbox. We know that if you're out there doing it, it's not always cheap, it's not always the fastest, it's not always easy to sell to your workers. Safety is a sales job. I get yelled at for this once in a while, but that's nothing new. We have to sell safety. Jim was talking a little bit earlier about fall protection off of helicopters, and people are resisting it. We're familiar with people resisting our ideas when it comes to safety. We've heard that a couple of times. But you have to sell it, and it becomes normal. Once they accept it, once they realize the benefit and the gain, it becomes normal. So when you think about a standard, you think about some of the work you're going to do or a provision you'd like to add that you really think would mean something in safety. You know, we can do something here with this. And you got the naysayer in the crowd, or somebody says, oh, no, we can't do that. That's no, that's going to cost too much. We can't go there. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. It's going to hurt. They're going to squeal. They're going to whine. It's my opinion, a successful negotiation is you've made everybody mad. As long as they're all mad equally, you did pretty good. Because you're never going to make everybody happy, so don't try. The tree trimmers, Utility Line Clearance Coalition, and the tree care industry petitioned us for consideration. We had a nice long negotiation and visited several times about the rule. In the end, we did some phase-ins and pushed out some dates, but the rule was published and remained intact as written. So in a lot of ways, that's a victory. It's an interesting rule. The 269 was updated, the general industry side of the rule was updated in the mid-90s, but the construction rule had not been touched since it was promulgated in 1974. So that's getting pretty old for a standard. So construction in power line work, construction in general industry is really not a lot of difference. When the OSHA Act was published I think it was actually published in 69 or 70. I didn't care much when that happened, but it was a couple of years ago. We had 2 years to create standards. And what the Act told us to do was go adopt consensus standards across the board. And we did. We were required to just go adopt consensus standards. If you look through the standards and you see the standards that are still incorporated by reference, you'll notice a lot of them say 1968, 1969, that's why. We had to adopt them. We've been going through a process since for a number of years. It doesn't end to update them, but to update a consensus standard does require notice and comment rulemaking. So, you know, we do it consistently. We do still occasionally incorporate a standard by reference, usually for specifications, not so much worker safety. The worker safety challenges come in with should and shall provisions in a consensus standard. We can only enforce an incorporated consensus standard shall provision. If we're going to do if we are silent about a provision, if we don't say anything about it anywhere, and there's an industry recognized consensus standard with a shall provision, we can write a general duty clause violation for it. So if you talk to OSHA, you know, about a consensus standard, or if you have people that are from OSHA on a consensus standard committee, we're probably saying, can we say shall there? We can't vote on the committees, because that would be delegating our regulatory authority. But we can contribute to the conversation in a committee. So it's a challenging relationship, but we live by them. When I was in the cubicle and working as a safety and health specialist, there wasn't a day that went by that I wasn't in one consensus standard or another. So they are a way of life for us, and we respect and work with the committees everywhere that we can. How many people gave their lives, have been injured, or whatever, for us to justify the government taxpayer resources to write a new rule? 1? 2? No, it takes a lot. You have to justify it. And that is our first hurdle to even get it onto the reg agenda, which is easier said than done. Once it's on the reg agenda, then we can start thinking about trying to gather the information. What means of rulemaking will we use? You guys can be so much faster, so much more agile than we can.